Hello, my witchlets. Here we are with a whole bunch of leftovers. So we've got a lot of leftovers here from the Will It Tempura video. And we've got some chicken and chicken broth from when we made an entire chicken in the Instant Pot months ago at this point, because it was before we weren't allowed to have people over. And we had somebody over that weekend, so we made an entire chicken. So tonight we are going to probably, this will be the introduction to several different videos because there are several different dishes I'm going to make, and you know, rather than have this be hours long of video, we will have a video for this dish, a video for this dish, and a video for this dish. So this will be the introduction to all three of them, so you get to watch this 3 times, or however many times I use it. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started because I have some ideas as to what to do. All right, first dish of the night is going to be Brussels sprouts with bacon, basically. And this is jicama. It's for snacking. So, don't worry, I'm probably gonna eat all of that. For this recipe, you will need bacon, 4 to 8 strips. I use beef bacon, of course, because I don't eat pork. Brussels sprouts, you need about 1.5 to 2 cups worth. You're gonna quarter them. I am adding mushrooms for the first time. We're gonna use a shallot, which this is actually a leftover shallot, which never happens here. I'm gonna add some currants to this as well, but you'll also need 1/3 cup of golden raisins. And then I use a combination of chicken broth and white wine when I make this dish. You will want a skillet that has a clear lid so that you can observe what's going on while you're cooking, because it's going to take you a bit, but you don't want it to turn mushy, but at the same time you don't want it to be liquidy. So you kind of have to watch what's going on to make sure that the way everything works out, it stays crisp. So crisp like a jicama. Welcome back, my witchlets. I'm just kidding. So we have our shallot diced into our prep bowl. And most of the Brussels are cut. So let me show you how to do that so that you know what you're doing for this particular dish. I actually do mine slightly differently than cameraman Ken does his, but I'll show you how I do mine, and then I'll just cut the rest of them the way these are cut, because these are different. So first of all, you want to cut the end off your Brussels. And you're gonna have pieces that fall off, that's fine, they can go into the dish. So the way these are cut, they are cut in half lengthwise, and then since this one is a larger one, cut in half again. So in half lengthwise and then lengthwise again. The way I tend to do it, well, this one isn't going to work very well because it's a smaller one. So smaller one, again, cut the base off, toss the leaves over here, and since it's small, just cut it in half. So the way I tend to do it when I do this myself, I cut it in half this way, but then rather than cut each of these halves in half the same direction, I cut them into quarters that way. I don't know why I do that, other than when I first made this recipe, I thought that's what it meant. So that's just how I've always done it. But
I do it the other way because the leaves hold together better.
Yeah, you can do it any way you want. The leaves do hold together better when you cut it cameraman Ken's way. So you do you, boo. That's really all I can say on that one. So once we get these all cut, then we're gonna take everything over to the stove top and show you what to do with these bad boys. All right. what'd you call this? Longitudinally?
Mm-hmm.
Longitudinally. That sounds like a cardinal direction. I don't do cardinal directions. All right.
Truer words.
Is east right or left? Just tell me. I'm at a T intersection. You telling me to go east does not help. Okay, so we are back and we are going to do the Brussels. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get your bacon. I'm using 4 slices of beef bacon. I'd cut it in half because it's really awkwardly shaped. So you want to just kind of dice it, which I do by cutting, into your skillet. I don't have the skillet on at the moment because this usually takes me a while because my hands don't like to work. So you get to watch me awkwardly cutting bacon, yay, for like 2 minutes, because that's about how long it takes me. Probably longer. I have no concept of time. It's like cardinal directions. So what did we learn from this channel? I don't like stuff under my fingernails. I don't know cardinal directions. My hands don't work, and everything takes me longer. Everybody is telling me. I'm sure my comments are going to go crazy. There's a better way to do that. Yep, I'm sure there is. I don't know it. I'm completely self-taught, and it's obvious. So that was half of the bacon. This is the other half of the bacon. So if you want, I will have somebody do this for me who does it much faster and better, and then we'll come back. Okay, so bacon has been cut and is now in our skillet, and we have the skillet on a gas stove set to that temperature, which is high-ish, medium high, and that's about where you want it for the moment. So you want to cook your bacon so that the fat, if you're using regular bacon, you'll get much more fat than what you will from the beef bacon, and that's fine. But you want to get as much fat out of it as you can, because that is what is going to help cook your other things that you're adding to it. So once this gets going, we are going to add to it our shallots, some minced garlic, which we are going to measure with our hearts, and some mushrooms, because I have a lot of mushrooms to use. And I wanted to put mushrooms in this because it was suggested and sounded tasty. So, and then we'll put in the Brussels sprouts and add our liquid and add the raisins and currants and go from there. This entire dish takes probably about 30 to 45 minutes as far as cook time is concerned, and active doing things time. Okay, so now that we have bacon doing its bacony thing, we're going to add the shallots, or shallot, as it were, and the garlic. As you can see, I am almost out.
You have the whole unopened one.
I know we do, because I got it the other day when I was at the store. Because I knew that I was going to need it. That's enough. And then we're going to cook this till it is aromatic, which is about 30 seconds to a minute. And once this reaches the aromatic stage, then we're going to add in our mushrooms and let those cook so that they can get the flavor, the mushroomy flavor. So smart when it comes to cooking terms. I know that's why you guys watch this channel. You really don't care what it is I'm cooking. You just want to hear me slaughter cooking terms and make things up. Like mushroomy flavor. think it's umami. Is that what the word is? Umami? I don't know. Anyway, mushrooms. This recipe does not normally call for mushrooms, but that's what makes cooking fun, is you can kind of follow the recipe and deviate from it, and things will likely turn out okay. Baking, you kind of have to stick with it, with what it says, for the most part. Gluten-free baking, well, that's just sorcery. And that's why our channel is called Kitchen Witchery and Other Spells. So, that was some fun trivia for you. So you want to just, I'm not really sure how long to cook this, because like I said, I've never really done this with mushrooms before. I'm just kind of trying to keep it stirring and not sticking to my pan. If you're using, if you use regular bacon, then you're going to have a lot more fat in your pan than I do, and that will help things to not stick as well. I like making this dish personally with a cast iron skillet, but all of my cast iron skillets are in storage because 2020 has been canceled and everything that I would use them for is not happening right now. So, other than, you know, cooking my regular meals, but my kitchen is small and I only have so much space. So, Julia Childs, I am not. Although I do enjoy drinking while cooking. Let's see. Okay, this actually smells mushroomy, which is what I'm going for. So now we're going to go ahead and add our Brussels. And you want to try to get these browned as much as you can before you add the liquids that go in here and then the dried fruit. Now, again, regular pork bacon has a higher salt content than the beef bacon. So I have a tendency to add salt to this dish as well as pepper, because of course I add pepper. One of these days I might get brave and add hot sauce. We'll see. I still have that garlic Reaper chili sauce in my fridge. So put a little salt in there, pepper. I love pepper grinders, but this really hurts. Cameraman Ken, can you please just... No? Okay. I'll figure something out. Okay. There we go. So you want to mix that around too, so you don't have like pockets of salt and pockets of pepper. Well, the pockets of pepper sound kind of good. Almost like, you know, Pockets of Pepper. Isn't that an 80s band? Anyway, if it wasn't, it should have been. So you want to just kind of let this roast for probably no more than 5 minutes. I'd say probably like 2 or 3. Because you want to try to get the Brussels browned. That way they don't mush up as much when you subsequently go to steam it. High heat is good for this because you are actually trying to brown your vegetables, your Brussels sprouts. So you want to do high heat to start, and then you are going to turn the heat down to medium-low or so and let it simmer. Once you add the liquid, you're going to let it simmer for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. So we'll be back in a few minutes once these brown up, and then we'll show you the rest of the steps right up until we have to let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay, so this is not browning up as much as what I would have hoped, and that is I believe due to the fact that I'm using beef bacon, which doesn't have as much fat. So there's not as much oil in here for these to sit in and brown. So I'm gonna have to just go with my heart on this and realize that this is what I got. So I'm gonna keep doing my thing here. At this point, you're gonna mix in either 2 cups of chicken broth or a combination of a cup of chicken broth and a cup of white wine or whatever. Just don't use 2 cups of white wine. As tempting as that is, don't do it. It does not have the same effect. It does not have the same flavor, and it will dry everything out. So this is a dry white mixed with homemade chicken broth. You're gonna put that in there. And if you're using regular pork bacon, you will need to deglaze the bottom of your pan by scraping up all the little bits that are stuck to it. I'm not having that problem. So once you get everything mixed in and stirred around and your pan deglazed, you're gonna go ahead and drop the temperature to medium-low. You're gonna take 1/3 of a cup of golden raisins and plunk those in there. And I'm using a scant 1/4 cup of currants as well, just for a little extra flavor. Mix those around. And then we're gonna put, actually, I'm sorry. You wanna bring this up to a boil first. So don't turn it down to medium-low yet. Bring it up to a boil first. Then you're gonna turn it down to medium-low because you need it to simmer for approximately 15 to 25 minutes, depending on many factors, including what kind of bacon you've used, how firm you like your Brussels sprouts, and how your oven behaves or misbehaves, as the case may be. So we're gonna bring this up to a boil, and then over here, once we have it back down to a simmer, we're going to put our clear lid on it so that we can see what's going on with our dish and know pretty much when it's done. Alrighty, so we're back with our Brussels. Basically, you want to get as much of the liquid out as you can. I gave up because I was hungry. So we're gonna go ahead and slap some of this on the plate here. And this stuff is so good. So there you have it. Brussels with bacon and golden raisins. So if you like what you saw here today, go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking, what you'd like to see on this channel. And go ahead and make sure that you have subscribed to the channel and that you ring the notification bell so that you know when my other videos are coming out, because they could come out this weekend. They could come out next week. You don't know unless you're subscribed and you ring the notification bell, because that's how that works. So head over to my Patreon as well, www.patreon.com/KWOS, and check out some of the stuff that's going on over there as well. So we'll see you next time.